Hi there, welcome to my tiny orchid balcony. I'm going to start a little project for this Renanthera drum. Coming right up. I have an orchid drum here that has several Renantheras on them. There's of course my soul buddy, which has a very long story. Uh, Apparently this one is under an infestation right now that I'm treating it with alcohol and soap and water of scales. Luckily she's thrown out a new little baby, a Kiki, and it seems so far to be clear. I don't see any infestation on it so far. But anyway, back to the drum. There's a couple of Renantheras on here. Here's one, a bag baby from Home Depot. There is this one that I purchased in bloom last year. It's a Bangkok Beauty. I got that one last year at the Redland Orchid show. And then there's this other one, which I believe is from Kawamoto Orchids in Hawaii. I also purchased it. Yes, there it is, Kawamoto. Purchased it last year at the Redland Orchid show. So anyway, my situation with the balcony is that it's a tiny balcony, and watering is kind of a problem. It's actually a big problem. I miss them daily. Supposedly it's supposed to be twice a day, but honestly I just do once a day. But I think that there's a little bit of problem with the water retentions. These Vandas, I always feel like they're on the dry side. So these are pretty okay. I've managed to put some moss in the pots. Those seem okay, but the Renantheras I'm a little bit worried about. They are doing well as far as attaching to this drum, and they're throwing out roots, and they seem to be happily, continuing to attach and throw out new roots. But I don't know, I think that I would do better in this situation with this huge Renanthera. Actually there's two of them in here, and I have a combination of charcoal and bark, and there's also some of the hydroponic beads in there, and I don't know, but I think it seems to be quite happy. It's thrown out so many roots since I got it from Smiley Orchids last year at the Bonnet House Orchid Show. I think it was last February 2019. May have been April. But anyway, I'm gonna try to do the same thing here. So what I did was I purchased this pot, and my intention is to put the drum in the pot and then fill it up, not too much, but with some of the similar. I couldn't find the hydroponic beads, but I did find the bark, and I did find the charcoal. So I'm gonna fill it up, and let's see how that goes. Wow, perfect fit, like a glove. So now I'll be able to fill it up. Hopefully with a little bit of stuff to retain moisture. All right, so the drum is in the pot and it fits like a glove. Yes, there is drainage at the bottom. You can see there's a nice big drainage hole. So I want to make sure that these dry quickly. That infestation is driving me crazy. I'm gonna have to hit it with alcohol again. But yes, it's gonna be able to drain and dry quickly, because of course I don't want to drown these orchids. Like to throw out these big fat roots because they want to be able to dry out ASAP. So I got a little bit of special orchid mix, some Miracle-Gro orchid potting mix. I've never used this before. I'm kind of curious about it. And I've got some charcoal, so I'm gonna mix them up and add them, and we'll see what that looks like. So here's what it's looking like so far. I've placed the drum inside the really wide pot, and I mixed the orchid mix the special orchid potting mix and the charcoal, whose bag I throw away. And this is what I have so far. I was just about to fill up the drum for extra retention of moisture, but I ran into my Grammatophyllum. This one is a Grammatophyllum Broda Tiger, and this was how it bloomed July 2017. And I bought her with blooms and she never bloomed again. But poor thing had some struggles with, I think it was, I don't know, it was like a black spots that were all over the leaf. So now it seems to be nice and healthy. But I'll be honest with you, I've had these in the past and I've never grown them in rocks, and it doesn't seem to be loving the rocks. So I'm going to take some of these rocks and I'm going to put them in the drum. And then I'm going to add some of that same potting mixture that is in here. A little bit on here. And see how that goes. Because in the past when I had these, I had about 3 different variations of the Grammatophyllum. And they were not in the rocks. I had them in this type of growing medium. Basically in this type of growing medium, and it did really well, but I haven't gotten any reblooming here, so I'm gonna try that and then see what happens. I removed some of the lava rock. As you can see, it hasn't even attached, so I don't know, it's just not, I mean, not loving it. So I don't know, I'm gonna go with my gut on this one. I left some lava rocks in there to help with the drainage, so I took some out and I put in here in the drum project to help with the drainage. And now I'm going to top it off with the rest of the mixture of the charcoal, the orchid potty mix, and the special orchid potty mix. And all right, so I added the mixture to it. This is another lovely pot from Bang Jong Orchids in Homestead, Florida. It's really good with drainage, so I had to add some of the bigger pieces so that it doesn't keep leaking out. And now with what I have left over, I'm gonna put it in to the drum. And I didn't want it to cover all the way because again, these roots do like to air out and dry fully. But it's just a little bit more moisture retention it's gonna get. And then I'm gonna put a little bit more of this stuff. The coarse blend orchid potting mix, which supposedly has Miracle Grow in it. So I'm kind of excited about that. I've never done that before. So I'm gonna add a little bit. Okay, and then I'm gonna water, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's nice and placed along with the other. Watered yet, but my family's in there screaming for me to come in and have dinner. So these are the 3 products that I mixed to create this mixture here. Again, I wish I had the hydroponic beads, but I don't. Well, that's okay. I filled it up. Not all the way, just sort of part. I don't want to suffocate these roots. And I do realize that I am shooting toward the sun, but my back is basically up against a sliding glass door. This is, after all, a tiny balcony with big orchid dreams. And oh, also the Grammatophyllum I was talking about, I'm gonna place it here and hope it gets enough sun. Looks like it'll retain a little bit more water. I did leave the top roots able to breathe up here. I know that I'm not supposed to cover those up all the way. So now I'm gonna water and we wait. I'll be posting updates every now and then. See how it goes. We are watered and ready for some sun in tomorrow. Hopefully that will retain a good amount of moisture, but not too much so that it is a problem for the plant. I will be monitoring that closely. And here's that Gramidophilum, which I added a different type of potting mix. She was just in some lava rocks. So now she's got lava rocks at the bottom for drainage and a variety of potting mix and charcoal in there. So that should be good. I think I'm happy with that. So let's see what happens. We'll give it a couple of days and I'll be watching these plants closely. Hopefully we will have some success with the Renanthera drum.